We're starting off with the rice cakes. I got the one specific for the soup, which is tteokgukdeok, and I got the side, which is made out of rice flour instead of wheat flour. So I'm gonna soak that into water, and we'll let it soak while we work on our soup base. We're making two different versions today, the meat version and a pescatarian version. So the meat is gonna be soup beef bone broth, and then the seafood will be made out of dry seafood pack. And if you can't find the bone broth, you can use these instant ones and try to find it in your local Korean market. With the seafood version, we're going to start off with water and then put the dried seafood pack on it. And for more flavor, I'm adding half an onion and one green onion into the broth. And we'll let that boil while we pour our beef bone broth into a separate pot. For the seafood one, once it boils 15 to 30 minutes, I like to take out all of the veggies and pack, and since it was mostly for the flavor of the broth. And it'll have that nice yellowy color. And then for more flavor, I'm adding that much garlic, and then I'm using soy sauce. This is specific for soup. It says 국간장, but you could opt for just soy sauce if you don't have a specific soup soy sauce. I also add fish sauce. This is the brand I use, but you can go ahead and use whichever brand you like. And those two, I just kind of eyeball it and taste as I go. I also use 다시굿 황태, which is kind of like a seafood dried powder for extra flavor, but you could skip this step if you can't find it. I also add sea salt, and then I also add salt into the bone broth. And then for both of them, I'm gonna add some peppers. You could just use whichever hot pepper you like, such as serrano peppers. And then we're making toppings. So for toppings, which is called 고명, we're starting off with eggs, which is chidan. And then I separated the eggs into whites and yolks, and then I'm mixing it. And on a hot pan, we're gonna thinly spread the yolk and egg separately. And you want to make sure it's thin and that it's cooked all the way through. And then add salt on top because you still want to make it tasty. And then do the same thing for the egg whites as well. The egg white's a bit trickier just because it's kind of more runny, but it's not too bad. And then I'm gonna fold the yolk into thirds or fourths and then thinly slice them. Once you thinly slice them, you're gonna just put them aside to a plate, and then we're gonna come back to it because we're gonna use these as a topping. So for the egg whites, you can see mine kind of cracked in the middle, but it's totally fine because we're going to fold it and slice them anyways, and be careful because it is going to be hot. But basically do the same thing that you did with the egg yolks and thinly slice them as thinly as possible, and then put it to the side once again for toppings later on. We're going to do the same thing with green onions, slice them thinly, use for toppings later on, and make sure to save the roots and put it into water because you could grow a whole nother green onion like I did mine, which is super cool, I think. Next, we're going to put it all together. For the beef bone broth, I'm adding pork and leek dumplings. And if you have veggie dumplings or shrimp dumplings, you could add it to your pescatarian version as well. But I opted to skip it. And then next you're going to add the soaked rice cakes inside both of the soups. And then you'll just let it boil and patiently wait. And once it boils, take out the lid and put it to a separate plate or bowl. We're going to scoop out the soup. Now for toppings. To make it look pretty and also add a bunch of flavor, I'm adding the egg whites, the egg yolks, the green onion that we sliced earlier, and then we're also going to top it off with some black pepper for more flavor, and then also furikake on top. Later on, while I was eating, I also added a little bit of sesame oil only onto my bowl, but you could totally opt to do it and not do it because I didn't show it, but enjoy it with some kimchi. And also, it has enough flavor that you wouldn't need sesame oil, but yeah. For the pescatarian one, we're going to do the same thing. Add the egg whites, the egg yolks, the green onion, and furikake, and pepper. And enjoy it with a side of kimchi. Let me know what you guys eat for Lunar New Year's or whether you guys celebrate Lunar New Year's. I would love to know, but this is our family tradition and Korean tradition. Thanks for watching. Bye.